Ethan Marshall was the kind of man who seemed to have it all. A self-made millionaire, he had built his empire in the real estate world by sheer determination and brilliance. His sprawling mansion on the edge of town was a symbol of his success, with marble floors, chandeliers that dripped with crystals, and a fleet of luxury cars lined up like trophies. But to Ethan, the crown jewel of his life wasn't his wealth, it was his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily had been Ethan's whole world ever since his wife passed away 3 years ago. Losing her had left a hole in his heart, but Lily's smile gave him the strength to keep going. He would often tell people, "I can lose every dime I've ever earned, but I cannot lose her." But Ethan had remarried 6 months ago. His new wife, Vanessa, was breathtakingly beautiful, elegant in a way that drew attention whenever she entered a room. To outsiders, she seemed like the perfect match for Ethan, refined, fashionable, and from a respected family. Yet beneath the surface, Vanessa's relationship with Lily was strained. The truth was, Vanessa didn't see Lily as part of her glamorous new life. While she put on a facade of politeness when Ethan was around, she treated Lily with cold indifference whenever they were alone. To Vanessa, Lily was a constant reminder of the woman who had come before her, a rival for Ethan's affection. The only person who truly saw through Vanessa's act was Maria, the housemaid. Maria had worked for the Marshalls since before Lily was born, and she loved the child like her own. She watched with quiet unease as Vanessa subtly pushed Lily aside, always careful not to let Ethan notice. Maria knew that Ethan's love for Vanessa blinded him, and saying anything would only risk her job. One hot summer afternoon, Vanessa decided to take Lily shopping. "Ethan wants us to bond," she told Maria with a sigh, though her eyes betrayed her lack of enthusiasm. They drove off in Ethan's gleaming black SUV, the sun glaring down on the polished hood. Maria stayed back at the mansion, tidying up while silently praying that Vanessa would at least make an effort to treat Lily kindly. Hours later, the house was filled with the hum of silence when Vanessa returned, walking into the mansion with bags of designer clothes swinging from her arms. She looked radiant, her makeup flawless, her perfume trailing behind her. But there was no Lily. Maria frowned, immediately sensing something wrong. "Where's Lily?" she asked, wiping her hands on her apron. Vanessa blinked, her face suddenly pale. For a split second, her perfect facade cracked. "Oh, she must have." Her words stumbled, her eyes darting toward the driveway. Without waiting another second, Maria ran out the front door. The afternoon heat hit her like a wave as she sprinted toward the SUV. Her heart dropped when she saw the small figure inside, her tiny palms pressed weakly against the glass. Lily was still strapped in the back seat. Her cheeks were flushed crimson, her breath shallow. The car's leather interior had turned into an oven under the scorching sun. Maria's hands shook as she pulled on the locked door handle, it wouldn't budge. Panic clawed at her chest. She looked back toward the house where Vanessa stood frozen on the steps, her shopping bags clutched tightly in her hands like shields. "You left her in the car!" Maria screamed, tears stinging her eyes. The maid didn't think twice. She grabbed a stone from the edge of the garden, smashed the window with all her strength, and reached in to unbuckle Lily's seatbelt. Pulling the little girl into her arms, she felt the limpness in her body, the frightening heat radiating off her skin. Maria ran inside, cradling Lily, and grabbed a wet towel from the kitchen. "Stay with me, baby, stay with me," she whispered, gently dabbing her forehead. Vanessa stood there in silence, her lips pressed tightly together, as if calculating what excuse she would use when Ethan asked. Maria didn't care. All she knew was that she had to save Lily's life, no matter what. Maria worked frantically, laying Lily on the cool marble floor, fanning her with trembling hands. She whispered prayers in Spanish, her heart pounding with fear. Slowly, Lily's eyes fluttered open, her lips dry and cracked. "Maria," she croaked. "Yes, baby, I'm here," Maria soothed, tears of relief streaming down her cheeks. By the time Ethan arrived home that evening, Lily was resting in bed, sipping water with Maria at her side. Vanessa sat across the room, scrolling on her phone, pretending as if nothing unusual had happened. "Daddy," Lily cried when she saw Ethan, running weakly into his arms. Ethan lifted her, immediately sensing her frailty. "You feel warm, sweetheart. Are you sick?" Lily looked uncertain, glancing at Vanessa. She didn't want to get anyone in trouble. I was in the car for a long time," she whispered. Ethan's brows furrowed. "In the car? Vanessa, what is she talking about?" Vanessa forced a laugh, waving her hand dismissively. "Oh, She's exaggerating. I just stepped out for a minute to bring in the bags. She's fine. Maria's lips pressed together. Her instinct told her to stay quiet, but the image of Lily struggling for breath in that sweltering car wouldn't leave her mind. She couldn't allow Vanessa's lie to stand. Sir, Maria said softly, but firmly, Lily was locked in the car for more than an hour. I had to break the window to get her out. She could have died. Ethan froze. His grip on Lily tightened. What did you just say? Color drained from Vanessa's face. That's ridiculous. She's lying, probably trying to make me look bad. But Ethan could see the sincerity in Maria's eyes, the trembling in her hands from reliving the terror. He looked down at Lily, whose silence was confirmation enough. Vanessa, Ethan's voice was low, dangerous. Is this true? I told you, it was just a mistake. She snapped. Do you know how stressful it is to suddenly be a mother to a child that isn't mine? I was overwhelmed. Maria gasped. The words cut like knives, not just for her but for Lily, whose little face crumpled at the rejection. Ethan's rage boiled over. Overwhelmed. You nearly killed my daughter. He placed Lily gently in Maria's arms before turning on Vanessa. Do you think I married you so you could neglect the only person who matters more to me than my own life? Tears filled Lily's eyes as she clung to Maria. For her, the maid was safety, love, and protection, all the things Vanessa refused to give. That night, Ethan didn't speak to Vanessa. He stayed by Lily's bedside, stroking her hair, whispering promises that he would never let anything like that happen again. But when he looked at Maria, gratitude shone in his eyes. You saved her, he said, his voice breaking. I owe you everything. Maria shook her head. She is like my own child, sir. I would do anything for her. But Vanessa wasn't finished. In the shadows of her room, bitterness festered. She had nearly lost everything because of one mistake, and in her mind, it was Maria's fault. The maid had humiliated her in front of Ethan, tarnished the flawless image she worked so hard to maintain. From that night on, Vanessa plotted in silence. The weeks that followed were tense. Vanessa tried to regain Ethan's trust, but the distance between them grew wider with every passing day. Ethan became more protective of Lily, often leaving her in Maria's care rather than entrusting her to his wife. Maria noticed Vanessa's cold glares and the way she avoided her. But she wasn't afraid. Her only concern was Lily's well-being. The child had grown even closer to her, often sneaking into her room at night just to feel safe. One evening, as storm clouds gathered over the mansion, Ethan left for a late business meeting. Vanessa seized the opportunity. She cornered Maria in the kitchen, her eyes blazing with venom. You think you're a hero, don't you? Vanessa hissed. Always playing mother to a child that isn't yours. Maria stood tall, her hands still damp from washing dishes. I don't think I'm her mother. But when you left her to die, someone had to act. Vanessa's hand trembled, whether from rage or guilt, Maria couldn't tell. You'll regret making me look weak in front of Ethan. That night, as thunder rolled across the sky, Vanessa's resentment boiled into action. She packed her designer suitcases, took off her glittering wedding ring, and vanished. She left no note, no goodbye, only the echo of her heels on the marble floor as she walked out of the mansion forever. When Ethan returned and discovered her absence, he wasn't devastated. Instead, he felt an odd sense of relief. For the first time in months, the house felt lighter, free of hidden malice. He sat with Maria and Lily in the living room as the storm raged outside. Lily curled against Maria's shoulder, her small hand gripping the maid's fingers tightly. Maria, Ethan said quietly, his gaze steady, I've been blind. I thought Vanessa would make our family whole again, but I see now she only broke it further. You, on the other hand, you've been the one constant. You've loved Lily like your own. You've loved us both. Maria's eyes filled with tears. Sir, I don't need recognition. All I care about is Lily's happiness. Ethan reached over, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's forehead. And that's why I trust you more than anyone. I don't know what the future holds, but I know one thing, you will always be part of this family. Not as a maid, but as someone we can't live without. For the first time in a long time, Maria allowed herself to smile, a genuine smile of relief and gratitude. She looked down at Lily, who whispered sleepily, I love you, Maria. I love you too, my sweet girl, Maria whispered back. The storm passed by morning, leaving the sky washed clean, painted with soft hues of pink and gold. Ethan stood on the balcony, watching the sunrise with Lily and Maria beside him. He realized that sometimes, family wasn't defined by blood or marriage contracts. Sometimes, It was defined by sacrifice, love, and the people who stepped up when it mattered most. Vanessa was gone, but Ethan didn't feel loss. He felt gain. For in her absence, the truth had emerged clearer than ever. The maid who had once been invisible had become the very heart of their lives. And though Maria would never call herself a hero, Ethan and Lily knew the truth. She had done the unthinkable, the unbelievable, the thing no amount of money or status could ever buy. She had saved not just a life, but a family.